just wanted to say a few quick things about working with Ian. So I originally went to Ian because I wanted to get back to being an athlete again. I'd been following him for a while, had been in communication, and I reached out and said, all right, I'm ready to go one-on-one. And his response was, finally. And that was right. I had gone way too long training thinking I really knew movement, and working with Ian has completely opened up an entirely new world for me. I continue to be a student, I continue to learn, but I was stuck with my training. I was doing a lot of CrossFit and no rotation. I just didn't feel like an athlete anymore. So my main goal going to him was to really get back to just being an athlete. I wasn't feeling light on my feet. I wasn't rotating my ribcage by any means. I was locked. I was feeling like a robot. So the main focus was really just like open things up and get my body moving and feeling better. Not that I was in pain, but I just knew I wasn't performing at an optimal level, and I really wanted to see what I was capable of. So a lot of the takeaways that I took from working with Ian were, little things. He was able to take my training, take things that were working for me, what wasn't working for me. And when you're working one-on-one with a coach, you have to be able to communicate what is working and what is not working and what you're feeling, especially when you're working with a coach online. So I was trying to communicate as much as I could what was going on with me, and Ian was really good about coming back and changing my training. If I needed a little more left adductor or right glute, or whatever, internal, external rotation, whatever it was, we were playing with a lot of different things to get my body to respond in the ways that we wanted it to respond moving forward as I went to different exercises. So big takeaways were really learning how to use my whole foot. My feet were a lot tighter than I thought, and weren't functioning very well. Being able to get into my left and right hips, opening my rib cage, like opening my back ribs and opening up my rib cage, rotating my rib cage in relation to my pelvis. Those are some of the biggest takeaways from working with Ian that have absolutely just changed the game. As I go back into doing more CrossFit and strength training, I'm able to feel the difference in my body with my rib cage being able to move and be mobile and not be stuck in extension, and feel like a robot in the way that I did. So he's completely opened up my way of thinking with training and getting more internal rotation. I was one of those people that was always like, drive your knees out. And it's not always the case. So my other big thing that I absolutely loved about Ian is that he's a student of the game. He continues to learn, and he continues to bring stuff to the table from multiple sources. So he's not just like one way or the highway or it should be this. Like, he is always learning. And if you're going to hire a coach, you got to hire one that, wants to continue to learn and bring different things to the table for you. Because that, changed things for me as he just continued to keep my mind open into how my body was moving and how we could make changes. And he's absolutely put me on a path to train differently and train better and be light on my feet and walk and sprint and run and lift better than I have ever done in the past, even when I was a college athlete. So I would say where I'm at right now, and I'm always continuing to learn from many people in the industry, but Ian is one of my favorites, and he has really changed the game for me with how I'm going to move forward with being an athlete and feeling a ton better in my body. So if you haven't worked with Ian, work with Ian, check out some of his stuff that he has. He is absolutely amazing, and I appreciate everything he's done for me.